to America or England, and they're very different. They're more likely to be materialistic, but I think it's more that they're just honest about it because I don't know. I think most English girls like Louis Vuitton handbags just as much as Russian girls. They just wouldn't say it.
I've dated a few Russian girls, and it's almost like I don't know if it was just maybe they're American Russian, but it was almost too blunt. Like she takes the mystery away from, the whole seduction process. Like she'll verbalize everything that I'm doing, and then it just got really a little for that particular one. It got a little too much. But overall, I would say they're pretty direct.
Yeah, the directness for me is a benefit because I hate this whole kind of courtship period where there's all the games and you never know, what's going on, and you have to play the games as well to make it work. Um, I like the honesty. I like it that she would say, "I like you. I want to see you again," or she say, "You know what? I don't like you. I don't want to see you again." It's just cool. I don't know. I really don't. I don't like all the texting. And if a girl writes something to me like maybe, if I said do you want to meet up, she says maybe, message me tomorrow. For me, that's finished. I'm not interested. And it's nice to. It doesn't mean they're easier because obviously if you've not got what a girl would want, she won't she won't want to be with you. But she's more likely to make a logical decision. You have a nice time, everything's cool, so why not? She'll spend some time with you or give you the number or whatever it is.
Isn't the part of the game just getting through that? I guess ambivalence, or you have so many options that you just don't waste time if she texts you, maybe call me tomorrow.
Oh no, she'll still meet me, but I won't reply her for a week. And if she says that, text me, I won't do it. And then in a week or 2 weeks, I'll nudge her and she'll be more receptive. But a girl, yes, I will, work, but I won't work for an average girl. If a girl is very special, then I feel like fine, she can behave like that. But if I know she's just, chilling with her friends or doing nothing, and she sends this, she's not some big CEO that really has no time. It's bullshit. So any kind of bullshit to me is annoying. Any kind of game playing. So I wouldn't. These days, I wouldn't do anything with that. But it works well to just leave it for a while.
That's interesting because I think a lot of guys kind of bullshit back, right? Like, oh, I pretend like I'm busy for a week, and I think when you're learning game, it's easy to get into that cycle of like, well, I'm gaming, so therefore I have to behave a certain way. Uh,
Yeah,
sounds like you're past that.
yeah, I think so. I feel like it would be good for her to meet me, even if we don't hit it off or whatever. She's gonna have a nice time. I'm not, some weird creepy guy, so she's at least gonna have a nice time. We could end up friends. Something could happen. So it's more. I don't know. I think the kind of girl that would miss an opportunity like that is probably stupid. So I shouldn't try too hard to persuade her. And if you try too hard to persuade a girl that um, it means she can't really see your qualities, or she's looking for something else, or she doesn't get it, or she's stupid. It's not always a good situation to chase. But yeah, if I had no options, if I met the kind of girl like the one in the video, and I was in some small town, and she was by far the most beautiful girl, then yeah, I'd have to really really think, and you'd see funny text messages and all kinds of strategy together.
Talk to us about text game because that's an area that seems to get a lot of questions. Yeah, right now, your face-to-face interactions seem pretty solid. So when let's say you're single, you go out in one night. How does your week go? Do you collect like 10 numbers a night? And then how many of those numbers, what's the percentage of them that do end up texting or calling you back? And how many actually ends up being dates or hangouts?
There's really, I think the only time that a number would be potentially flaky is if in the initial interaction, for whatever reason, I didn't have the time to make sure it was solid. So she's in a rush, or she gets taken away, or I need to go. That's the only time it might be potentially flaky.
Can you just list maybe three or four things you do to make it solid for the guys that are listening?
Yeah, I think you need to have you need to get to that point where you have a comfortable conversation. So you're relaxed and she's relaxed. Maybe she's laughed. You've got a little bit of um, you can sense that she's interested slash attracted, and you've got some things that she'd be interested to talk about further. You've got some things that you could do together that you've suggested. And ideally, you've already found out, like her availability, and you've set a next date. But for example, if you approach a girl in the street, she's going to be on edge for. It'll be very hard for her to relax immediately. It's going to take a couple of minutes. So part of it is just time. But if the conversation remains awkward all the way through, then she's, she wouldn't feel comfortable seeing you again. She has to be relaxed, open up, start asking you questions, and then you need some more on top of that. You need some um, in her head. She can imagine spending a few hours with you and have it be comfortable. If it's slightly flakier, if you don't think you've got to that point for whatever reason, then you can always invite her out with her friends, or at the end of that interaction, at the point where you get the number, suggest something that would be more social, where you're going with your friends and you ask about her friends and blah, blah, blah.
Right, more of a like let's here's a hookup, come bring your girlfriends and come out to this club or event.
Exactly.
That's interesting. For the longest time, I always thought that I was supposed to game the girl, and I would just the whole interaction would be. I would think it went well, but really I was gaming her the whole time, and we never got to the point where there was comfortable, chill like conversation. And I think that's a big pitfall that a lot of guys miss. I've missed it for a long time. So once you get to that point, it seems like the numbers are more solid. Would you say that most of them? Go ahead.
I gave some advice to a guy recently, actually. He said, "Oh, my numbers are all flaky." And I said, leave your phone at home and go out, and you're going for instant dates in the daytime, and you're going for physical stuff in the night, so a kiss or taking the girl home. Because in London, when I guess had my my biggest kind of improvement, it was when I stopped going for numbers. Just wasn't using my phone. I was like, I don't like texting. I don't want to collect numbers. I don't want to do all that, because I'd meet a girl on, say, Wednesday, but then on Thursday I wouldn't want to see her because I'm going to the club with my buddies, and I'd much rather do that and meet new girls. And so I ended up getting numbers that I never followed up with. And it was worthless. So I was like, right, if I meet a girl, I'm going to go for something there and then. So if you meet a girl in the daytime and you talk to her for 10 minutes and you say, listen, I've got some time, let's go grab a coffee. If you can get to that point, then any number that you get at that point would also be solid. So if you first get good at taking girls on instant dates, you learn where that point is, where a girl would go on a date with you. And because it's a very different point to where she just gives you a number, that doesn't count for too much. Likewise, in the nighttime, you might be having these nice conversations, but you're not being sexual enough. You're just going for the numbers, and then whatever is fizzling out, or she doesn't meet you. If you're going for the physical closes, again, you're pushing yourself and you're practicing that area and getting it to the point where it would happen. Because with a lot of girls, when I meet them, I take it to the point where I could kiss them or be physical with them. Maybe I know they even want to have sex, but I don't do it at that point. I wait and I keep the tension there, and I know it can happen, but I only know it can happen because I've done it many times at that point, and I know what the signs are. So that's what I would suggest. I think too many guys, especially who do day game, they focus on the number, and it's a shame because they don't really learn solid game.
Totally. What are some things you text girls? If you get a number, let's say you get a number on Thursday, do you wait a few days? Do you text her right away?
If I got her number on Thursday, hopefully we arrange something. So it's just the formality. I would say something like, okay, so let's meet on, when I'm with her, I'm like, okay, let's Tuesday, just the first meeting and the date. I might text the weekend, say, hey, how's your weekend going or something like that. And then I will tell them when I meet them, okay, let's meet on Tuesday night at some time. I'll text you in the afternoon on Tuesday. So that's all in the bag. And I met them on the weekend, like Friday, Saturday. I would actually do it till Monday.
That's good. So you actually see when you meet them, you say, "Hey, I'm gonna text you on this day," and you text them on that, so they know to expect one from you at
Yeah,
that time.
I like the idea that they're picturing it in their head and that they're mentally prepared and that they won't make any other plans and that they're imagining how it will go and whatever. Yeah, I like that they have the details, so that they're prepared for it.
What's the pickup lingo called? I should know this stuff.
The what?
Precedents, setting precedents. That's right. Um, what what do you text them on the day? Do you just say, "Hey, it was nice meeting you," or what are some things guys can text to initiate the contact?
Um, I the one more than any other is just, hey, it was nice to meet you on whatever, it's Friday, Saturday. Um, how was the rest of your weekend? And then if I've got something I can say personally, I did this or I did that, or I just tried this nice restaurant, or I did this, whatever it might be, I throw that. So it's the first question is, how was the rest of your week? And then they reply and they say, yeah, it was good. I did this, this, this. And then my next question is, this is bad, in a bad situation because I've not set up the date, so I wouldn't normally be doing this. But I would say, what are your plans this week? So it's Monday. I'm like, what are your plans this week? And her reply to that can leave the door open to a date by saying, oh, I'm not doing anything, or I'm incredibly busy. So you kind of get a feel for it, if you can sort the date out or not.
Okay, cool. And so your texts sound they sound very I guess natural, but maybe let me challenge you a bit. They sound like something that any guy would text, maybe. Uh,
Yeah, they are, except that the formula it's not it's quite casual, and it's only asking for the meet up at the point where they're warm for it. So it's like the third text. The first text, how was their weekend? The second one's plans for the week, and the third one is, arranging. You've got three options. You can do like the direct date where you're saying, listen, let's do something on Wednesday. How I know this place, blah blah blah. When's good to meet? 8 or 9. The second option is to say, going with some friends to this bar or club or whatever, you should come bring your friends. And the third option is to, if you're not really getting a vibe, is to leave it for a while. Um,
how many
uh,
times do you try before? Do you invite the girl out and try to meet her face to face before you say you give up and say it depends on the quality of the girl, right?
yeah, I mean, might be within, might be the just one time, or it might be a girl that you keep in the loop. I add girls on Facebook as well to warm them up further. I think it's much easier to meet someone. Someone becomes a lot more real, if you've got a chance to look through their Facebook. Then if you just talk to them for 5 minutes and then we're supposed to spend a lot of time with them. So I found that adding them on there makes it, is a way that brings us closer together. But again, we're kind of talking a lot about text messages as like technique, and really for me, it's just the tool to arrange something that's already been decided. It's not about turning things around. But sometimes I've got funny stuff going on in messages. I look and I'm like, oh, actually, that would be funny. I should take a screenshot for the guys or something. But it's normally a girl that is, further along, it's not at